Because of all the chaos in this world, I wrote this lecture, and I hope the people that watch this take it serious because it's an important message. Now, I call it the all-seeing eye of your mind. It might sound kind of strange, like I'm talking about some conspiracy groups or some hidden, groups and cults, but I'm not talking about those people. I'm actually talking about you and the power of your mind, because your consciousness is the most important weapon, you could say, you have in this lifetime concerning all the chaos that is erupting around the planet in all generations, because it's not just our generation, but many people out there in the past that suffer. In this day and age we suffer, in the future people will suffer on planet Earth. So can we change that? Well, I think we can change it if we develop a bigger awareness of what we're capable of doing on an individual level, and then it might spread out to more and more people. That is my job, and that is why I wrote this lecture. I started out by asking this question: can I grasp that we are one? Can I actually experience that oneness, that bliss, that state inside my own mind? How can I achieve it? I have to forget everything society has taught me. I have to die to all my old beliefs as to what life really was, for it was more often than not a misunderstanding of the truth. Look around you, look at humanity and all the conflicts raging on our world. Now go beyond the conflict and you tell me, are these men and women of different cultures, religions and countries not born in the same way I was born? Aren't animals and even plant life born in the same way? Did not everything originate out of the same source? Since we cannot deny it, we can only hide it from ourselves. But we cannot deny it if we look at it. Well then, if I'm in conflict with another, am I not in conflict with myself? That is the essence. I have forgotten we are all one, and now I want to fight you, unleashing all forms of sorrow throughout the world. How can I restore my divine oneness? Nobody can tell you. Only the spirit of the universe can reveal the secret to you, and this revelation comes from within, always from within. I might point you to this truth, but I cannot reveal it to you, for when it happens, the universe is doing it inside of the depths of your own consciousness. The family you hold dear, the children you hold dear, the lover you hold dear, the friends you hold dear, they are all part of your invisible self, for they all originated out of the same source like you yourself. This will then indicate to us that we never lose anyone or anything, but it is our belief in separation that makes it seem that way. Can I restore the consciousness of true oneness? Can I open the all-seeing eye of my mind and see the real truth of existence? This is the great journey, the great adventure to returning back to your eternal home from which you came. Much conspiracies exist concerning the concept of the all-seeing eye, secret societies, etc. I'm not talking about any of those. When I mention the all-seeing eye, I mean it's symbolic, like the Eye of Horus from Egyptian mythology. I'm talking about the fact you have eyes that can see into other dimensions of the universe. It is an all-seeing eye, for it can discern and witness the real truth of reality, and when that dawns on us and enters into our human awareness, then we will be able to live by the truth and expand upon it within our current lifetime. As human beings, we must come to admit to ourselves that life itself is like a trap, one of the weirdest traps ever created. Realizing there are different frequencies of energy in this universe might put it in the right perspective when we look at life being one of the lower levels of frequency where concrete matter takes on form. Imagine holding a glass of water. The glass is energy, the water is energy, the air is energy, your body is energy, your mind is energy. Literally everything is energy, but it all vibrates at different frequencies. Now if you add heat to the water, it starts to change form. It changes into steam. Keep adding heat and eventually you would see it disappear into thin air. This is an important fact to keep in mind. You have the goal to get certain things, and we are never truly satisfied. We keep on chasing new goals and dreams, but one day you will lose it on the physical level of existence. Has it dawned on you? It sounds depressing at first. In fact, most people don't even want to look at this fact of life because it sounds too pessimistic. It's better to just enjoy the show while it lasts. This is true. We should and can enjoy this show even if we are aware of this fact. What happens if we are aware of this fact in the right way, though? That's a good question to ask. What happens to you if you are aware of this fact in the right way? Well, the struggle of life is removed, so you can enjoy the show without struggling so much over the achievement of things, or fighting your own circumstances because they are not to your liking. Well, clearly remember, this show you want to enjoy called life is taking place on different frequencies of energy. Take money for example. If you hold it in your hands, if it's a bill, it is simply paper with ink on it. You call it money, but it is not money. You cannot buy stuff just because it is paper with some ink on it. You can only use it to buy stuff if the energy of this physical thing is arranged in a certain way. Are you still following me? Imagine setting a $100 bill on fire. Where does the money go? It burns up, turns into ashes, it vanishes into thin air, just like anything else on Earth. Again, where did the money go? It just changed form and went back into a different frequency of energy. I might be losing you here, but here's the thing. Your thoughts, imagination, and emotions are also frequencies. They are also a form of energy. You cannot exclude those as not being energy. If everything in the universe is energy, this has to make you aware of the fact that these visions of imagination exists on different frequencies. That is why I tell people that their imagination operates in a different realm within the universe. If you put these pieces of the puzzle together and really look at it, you can see that everything is connected, and again we come back to the concept of everything coming from one source. If you can accept this fact of your own existence, that is how you develop belief in yourself and your dreams. If you can clearly grasp that everything is hooked up because of its energetic nature, you realize that if you were to visualize certain outcomes, it must exist on some different frequency that is not visible to your eyes. Just like when water gets boiled, it will eventually vanish from your eyes altogether. Our struggle in life comes into being because we have lost view of the oneness behind everything. So if life is difficult for you right now, you are clearly not aware that you are connected from an actual energetic level with the solution to all of your struggles and problems. It is a matter of rising up in consciousness to the thing we desire, so the solution starts to flow into our consciousness. It's like changing the dial on a radio. You can only hear what is being broadcasted on the frequency you are on. Change the imaginary state within your mind and you are changing the frequency in which your mind is operating, so new ideas and concepts start to flow into your mind. How do we rise up in consciousness to the solution to our problems? Take it serious. You simply imagine the solution to your problems. That is the actual rising up inside your own consciousness towards the realm on which the solution to your problems exists. If you can't imagine the solution right away, keep working on it. Keep contemplating what the solution would be until the vision awakens from within. Once you are fully consumed by the imaginary state of your solution, the people, things, inspiration, etc., everything you need in order to realize that imaginary state is impelled towards you. But always remember, were you to fail in this lifetime in realizing your objective, by the total oneness of the universe, you will always have another chance at achieving it, if that is what you want. Of course, this goes beyond your egoic mind, since you don't drag this body with you if you were to drop dead. Yet just like in the dream world, you still think you have a body. You still see a body if you were to look towards your arms or legs, but sometimes stuff seems really off in the dream world. Have you noticed that? I remember I've seen my face reflected in the dream world, yet I saw a different face than the one I have on this planet. You usually only notice it if you are lucid. Stop identifying with your earthly self alone and start embracing your imaginary self, which is that part of you that's more based in reality than your actual physical body ever was. What is taking place in me is a total disintegration of the illusion of this human form I took upon myself. To the unaware person, this might sound like a sign of upcoming mental breakdown, yet I'm acutely aware of what is happening to me, and it actually makes life even more amazing. It is what causes these revelations to unfold within my own consciousness, since I'm not trying to figure out the meaning behind life by looking outside of my own mind. I penetrate the depths of my own consciousness so it can reveal itself to me in this dimension of time and space through which we currently operate. Alright, so let us ask a vitally important question. How can I enjoy life if I'm forced to do things I don't necessarily like? I'm forced to go to school, I'm forced to make a living, I'm forced to pay taxes, I'm forced to pay bills, I'm forced to eat, and on it goes. How can I enjoy all aspects of life? This is what we want to figure out. For many people are stuck in a cycle where they don't really like what they are doing, but they are doing them just because they have to do them. How can we relieve the burden, so to speak, as we are going through this human experience of limitation and all the pressures society puts on us? In another lecture I shared that we can only improve life if we outgrow it altogether, so in our case we want to rise above these activities. This does not mean we stop being involved in them. We want to mentally rise above them and see the true nature of reality. We want to grasp everything is energy and everything is connected, so even if I'm forced to do something I do not like to do, I should rise above it mentally and emotionally and connect myself with what I like to have, so that starts to move into form. That is the way how I can outgrow things that I currently thought were tying me down. There are literally people on this planet who get a job because they need the money, but yet they do not like the job. They only took it to earn money. Yet if everything is energy, then imagining money inside your mind must mean you already have it. It just doesn't yet exist on the frequency of time and space. I know it sounds like some science fiction madness almost, but if you can take hold of this truth, you can learn to feel wealthy. And the feeling of wealth will inspire the ideas through which you can earn more money and do it in ways you would actually enjoy earning it while you are at it. That is when that aspect of life finally becomes fun, and we want all aspects of our lives to become fun and outgrow the tendency for us to just accept everything the way it was taught by society. We want to open our minds to the true source behind all of creation, so we can even temporarily enjoy the lesser things, for then we realize, oh, but I found myself in circumstances I do not like, because I was not yet aware how I could outgrow them. But now I do, so now even though I'm facing stuff I don't like, I will work on improving my life once and for all by using the greatest power given to me, imagination. This is another way of saying, realize that your struggles are not permanent. Nothing really is permanent on this physical side of life. So instead of bowing down to the madness, take charge of it and outgrow them by imagining the most wonderful things you can and dedicate your life to expressing the very things you are imagining about. That is all you should do throughout your lifetime. If you dare to do it, your life will improve by leaps and bounds. For example, right now I am single, but if I'm in a relationship I always have this tendency to imagine the most romantic thing I can think of. Then I express that concept to my girlfriend. That is what you can do yourself. You can keep on improving things to infinity, for you will never reach a ceiling with your imagination. That is what I'm talking about. To clarify something here. When I was still dating one of my ex-girlfriends, I wasn't yet as skilled in directing my imagination as I am now. So back then I would constantly slip back into negative behavior. Back into drinking lots of alcohol for years on end. I was not yet capable to direct my mind the way I am doing it right now. It's a peculiar thing, for I remember my girlfriend at times telling me I seemed such a romantic, but now I suddenly am such a monster. It was like being Jekyll and Hyde in my case. So in your case this might happen to you. Just realize that training your imagination is like working out. Your muscles will only grow stronger if you exercise, so your imagination will only become more powerful as you keep using it. In other words, what I'm suggesting you do is imagine the sort of outcome in life that you would like to see and then work on expressing them, act on them, act like the sort of person that would get those results and then watch what happens. You will notice your life improves. You're no longer dependent on whether other people are nice to you, since you simply build the most loving concept you can and express it towards everyone regardless, because that is where your joy comes from. In the actual creation of imaginary states and expressing them outwardly into the world of forms. This was a state of living I already achieved in my early teenage years. Then the horrors of my own mother's depression came into being. Then her suicide attempts and then her actual suicide. It was then that I lost touch with this essence of the universe, and I was drowned in darkness, until the golden lotus rose once again out of the darkness, but this time with awakened awareness of what it is capable of doing. This is where I am right now, and I'll just follow along with this unfoldment and see where it takes me. We want to bring both the darkness and light together. In other words, we want to make peace with both aspects in our lives, the good and the bad. So we become balanced inside ourselves, and then from that renewed inner balance, you'll be able to decide in which direction to build your life. It is the bad stuff that helps you to decide on what you would consider good. It is the good stuff that indicates where you should learn to direct your mind's eye, your own all-seeing eye that looks beyond the appearances and sees the nature of the thing observed. Nothing is lost, nothing is gained, all is one, all is well. Have you lost someone through death? I've met my mother after she died. You can meet your own loved ones too. Everything is energy. You meet them in a different realm of your own being, proving that death doesn't exist, if you are ready for it. You are the great magician of the universe. You conjure up things from the depths of your own being through the realms of imagination. You are the great creator that took upon itself the human form. It was written, God became man, so man may become God. This might sound like a negative God complex, but this can only happen if you're still being motivated by selfish desires. Don't mistake this for meaning. God became Reneel, so Reneel may be a God on earth and be above everyone else. In your case, use your own name instead. In essence, this is true. God, the awareness of the universe, became you and currently hides behind the mask of your ego identity. If you can see it and connect with it, you don't have a negative God complex. So even if you think this is blasphemous or insane, I would still claim that this is the truth of your own being. But when the ego is put aside, you will not feel yourself above anyone. Instead, you will simply share this marvelous news in your own way. I'm trying to fulfill a promise I had made to my mother, which was that I would share the truth of life to all of creation. I'm using the medium of words to convey what I have discovered in the hopes that it will plant the seed of awareness in your own mind. A seed that will one day bloom and start to make you aware of deeper and deeper aspects to your own being. I don't see anywhere in my own lectures that I talk down on others or claim I am above others. I'm speaking of oneness, and only the oneness of life, for that is what it means to awaken from within. That is what they meant when they said, God became man, so man may become God. Change it around. The universe became aware of being you, so you may become aware that it was the consciousness of the universe itself that gave and sustained your life. You can only grasp it once you drop the ego out of the equation and realize, I was hypnotized by the identity I have on planet Earth, but now I see that it wasn't the real me. It is a power hiding behind the label of my name, this power being my own awareness of existing. That is who I am. Then, since every person would have to admit this for themselves sooner or later, only then can you actually see the oneness behind the masks we wear. Someone might be homeless. I would consider their results worse than me. I don't consider their soul below me. Someone might be a multi-millionaire. I would consider their financial results better than mine. I don't consider their soul to be above me. Stop all pointless comparisons and open your eyes and look. Everyone is the same, but we let them either intimidate or praise us, feeding into our little egos even more. A homeless person can rise up and build a better life. A wealthy person can fall down and lose all their money. Life is like a wave of ups and downs, but the one observing and experiencing it all is mighty stable. He hides himself in us as our own awareness of being, and through conscious recognition of this power and applying it through the act of imagining whatever you desire, he will guide the way towards fulfillment. As it was written in Romans 11:33, his ways are past finding out. In other words, your reasoning mind can't always comprehend the ways, but your imagination can, and that is the kingdom of heaven, for heaven is within. Have you found it yet? Like the story of Moses where God told him, "Tell them I am had sent me unto you." This is the name of the spirit of the universe, I am, and everything after that are the creations we observe and believe to be true about ourselves. We must look behind everything that is created and our current identity, so we learn to see the spirit that sustains it.